Good morning and welcome back to Mobility Matters. I'm your host, Javier Betancourt, Executive Director of the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust, or CITT for short. We're the quasi-independent agency charged with overseeing your half-penny sales tax for transportation. So, of course, here on Mobility Matters, as the name would imply, we like to talk about mobility and transportation, but also all of the various issues that intersect with that, whether that be land use, development, housing, resiliency, and education. So with me today, there's no better person in Miami-Dade County to talk about education than the president of Miami-Dade College, Madam President Madeline Pumariega. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Javier. Thanks for having me.
No, and we've known each other for years back when I was at the DDA, and you were another president. You were the president of?
The Wolfson campus.
The Wolfson campus.
And then we worked, I always think of when we see the health district.
Yes.
We worked on that committee that created that health district and the branding under the Metro Rail. Yeah. And then the trolley.
Yeah, so from the very beginning, you and I were talking about and working on transportation, and here we are again.
Here we are.
So, Madeline, let's start with you. What is your background, and how did you come to become president of Miami-Dade College? I know you've worked not only for the college, but in several other educational institutions. So speak a little to that.
Well, I'm a 305 girl for sure.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Hialeah. Went to public schools.
HML here. You,
Hialeah High.
Okay, we're rivals.
Go T-Breads. And then went to Miami-Dade College on a basketball scholarship and played basketball there. So that's where I got my academic start. So to be back as the president of the college is pretty special. But then I came back to the college as an advisor and assistant coach, and then spent 20 years. And as you kind of just shared, that culminated with being the president of the Wolfson campus. I also spent some time at the medical campus. About 7 years of my career was at the medical campus. And so talk about the impact the college has around healthcare is just tremendous in our community. And then I left the college and I went to run an organization called Take Stock in Children. And Take Stock in Children serves about 25,000 students each year across our state. And it helps students in 7th and 8th grade have a pathway to college. They sign a contract to stay on track. Their parents or guardians sign a contract, and then a mentor is assigned to them. Wow. And at the end of that program, when they graduate high school, they have a scholarship waiting for them.
And those are critical years. I have two twin girls, 13 years old, in 8th grade now, and I can see how critical that year is, because that's where you have to start deciding, what your track is going to be in life, right? With the magnet programs. And that
mentorship from somebody sometimes outside of your parents who's a professional in an area that you might be interested is so critical. And then I left to Tallahassee and was appointed as the first female Hispanic chancellor to lead the college system.
Huge. Wow.
And so Miami-Dade College is part of the Florida college system. Mm-hmm. And just like Miami-Dade, across the entire state, there's 27 more Miami-Dades, right? And we know Broward College right in our area, Palm Beach State College, down in Monroe County, the Florida Keys. But if you go through the entire state, you'll always find a Miami-Dade College. And so that makes up the Florida college system. And I led that system. We reformed some of the good things in education we needed to do. And then to come back to Miami's, just been a blessing.
You missed your cafecitos, and you're like, I have to come back to Miami.
Pastelitos. God, you couldn't get a good pastelito.
It is very true. It's funny the things you miss. When I left for 7 years when I went off to college, never thought I'd come back. And you start missing that. That's the little things, right?
One place opened in Tallahassee, and they were the closest thing to being in Hialeah. They really created, but it was good.
It's like a New York bagel. It's not as good anywhere else.
No.
So you're back in Miami-Dade College. How many years now have you been the president?
3.5 years.
3.5. Wow. And so let's talk about the institution, because it really is. I've always said this, and I truly mean it. It's one of the top 3 most indispensable institutions in Miami-Dade County. I won't tell you where I'm going to place it, because that might make the others jealous. The county's public school system is the other. And I won't tell you who the third is in my mind, because I have to keep people guessing. But clearly a critical, indispensable institution. Miami would not be what it is without Miami-Dade College. You play such a critical role. So tell us what it is about Miami-Dade College that makes it special. And I know you've won some recent awards that I'd like for you to show off as well. So please.
I think what makes the college so special, we opened our doors in 1960. And if you can go back and think about Miami in 1960, right? in 1971 at Dade Junior College, my mom went through the doors to become a teacher. So if you think that, right, and you think about her experience, it's still the experience that people are having today that arrive to this country and need to find the education to be able to contribute to our community. We're that college. We're the college where Jeff Bezos did dual enrollment when he was at Palmetto High School. So today we have 11,000 students doing dual enrollment while they're in high school. Wow. Many of them graduating even with their associates before they finish high school. We're that same college. We're the same college that the Honors College is attracting the very best in our community, and have 6 or 7 of our students at MIT. Yeah. Started their 2 years, they're associates at Miami-Dade, and now they're at MIT in software engineering. We have a student working for Blue Origins, literally a rocket scientist, right? And we're that same college that we have our presidential scholars that intern with you and intern in our community. Yeah. And I think that's what makes us special. What makes us special is that while we have grown in our 64 years, our mission and purpose to serve this community as its college has remained the same. And I think that's the special part. And it's hard to find a household in Miami-Dade County that hasn't been impacted by Miami-Dade College. Absolutely. Either you attended, you're attending, you work there, you do business with. Yeah. And I think that's, I think about what we do as the workforce engine of our community and how important that is. But I also think about what we do as the cultural engine of this community. Before the art museums and the arts, you know what? We had book fair, and we had the film festival and Cultura de Lobos. So the college also grew up with our city, not just bringing education, but bringing art and culture and innovation. And for the first time in the history of the college, we just got ranked by U.S. News Report, 4th in, number 4 in our region. So
well, that's the wrong symbol.
That's the U, but
what do you guys do?
I don't know what we shark.
You shark.
But that I think is, a testament to our faculty. It's a testament to our staff. And most importantly, it's a testament to the hard work of our students.
That's fantastic. And I absolutely agree with you. You touched so many. You touched me. So I never went to Miami-Dade College per se, but I remember in high school, I took a macroeconomics course at the Wolfson campus one summer just to get ahead. Yeah. And the one thing I did there is we played Sim City. And that planted a seed in me. I never heard of the urban planning profession, but that game, really kind of enticed me to build cities and how much fun that would be. And at some point, that grew into me becoming an urban planner, and my career is now thanks to you. So thank you, Miami-Dade College, for planting that seed. And you do that for so many. So not only do you provide that kind of ladder to success for not only our residents, but those who arrive here from other places, and give them that opportunity, but you're also critical to the business community, right? You are training our workforce, not only in technical programs and 2-year programs, but you also offer 4-year programs. So let's speak specifically how that translates into hopefully transportation and mobility. What kind of programs does the college offer in the transportation industry, whether that be, engineering or bus operators or behind the scenes support?
Yeah, so we're talking about mobility, and I think you can look at mobility as you look at it with a wide perspective. And I look at mobility not just from the transportation aspect, but from the economic mobility, right? And one of those rankings was in economic mobility because we're really offering the pathways that lead to a job that we need in our community. So I'll talk about indirectly mobility with artificial intelligence, which I think is going to have a tremendous impact in mobilities and grids and everything else in our urban city planning.
Absolutely.
We're the first college in the state to launch a college credit certificate, an associate's, and a bachelor's of applied science and artificial intelligence. And we didn't look at it as a major. We're looking at artificial intelligence and its impact in healthcare. Artificial intelligence, its impact impact in education. Every pathway, every career, every job is interfacing with artificial intelligence, right? And so I think we're just at the beginning of how AI is going to transform our cities and transform our communities and the world, just because of its rapid evolution of it. We're seeing now the elementary version. By the time we get to, ChatGPT 5, it's a PhD, right?
It's moving so quickly.
It's going to move so quickly. So you think about that aspect. Another indirect, cybersecurity. Our grids, a lot of our things are all on technology platforms today. When you think about cybersecurity crime, we just had a speaker on campus yesterday. It is like, it has a GDP of countries in terms of cyber crimes.
Wow.
Right? And so we have 2 programs that are NSA designated as a Center of Excellence in Cybersecurity, an Associate's in Science and a Bachelor's of Applied Science. So those 2, while they are not directly transportation and mobility, I think is going to be the future of work.
Absolutely.
The intersection of that. But specifically around transportation and logistics, we've got a Bachelor's in Trade and Logistics. And we also have a CDL program. We're working closely now on aviation and aerospace and expanding that out. We're at Miami Executive Airport and have programs in aviation. We've been there, for 25 plus years. We just opened a new simulation experience. It's air traffic controller. I mean, it's just pretty amazing what the students and the technology they're getting exposed to, but we're really looking at expanding that aspect of it. And then I think an important partnership that we started years ago was with Tesla in the automotive technician pathway. And that what's happened there is Bean Automotive. We're on our 3rd internship now, apprenticeship program with Bean Automotive. And so students take their courses at Bean Automotive, they're paid, they're working for them, and then they end their career with the automotive technician certification. And we're doing that with Warren Henry as well.
And automotive isn't what it used to be. These are rolling computers, right?
No,
so it's really complex, and you need that educational
My uncle
foundation.
was a mechanic, and so, grease, and it's not that anymore. It is really foundational to technology. Why I started kind of around artificial intelligence, cybersecurity as support programs for all industries, but really important, I think, in the transportation industry.
And you're absolutely right to link all those things together, because when I think about the future of transportation, we're talking about automated vehicles. We're talking about smart signals, which we're investing in, with our half penny. Bad actors plugging into those things could create all sorts of havoc, right? You could only imagine. And so cybersecurity, for instance, is extremely important to making sure that those services, those transportation networks are safe.
Right.
So now let's shift a little bit from your training and educational programs to the transportation experience, right? Many, I would imagine all of your students are really commuter students.
Yes.
And so they're on our roadway networks, they're taking our transit, they're trying to get to your many campuses. I forget how many you're up to. It's a lot.
We're at 8 campuses and a couple of outreach centers.
So you're everywhere in the county, and maybe even beyond the county at this point. And so you're really in a unique position to look at transportation mobility from all those different perspectives, because your students, your faculty, your staff have to get to every part of the county. What is the college's role, or are there any initiatives, or are there any partnerships that you're pursuing to make sure that people can get to and from your campuses easily?
I think we always sit at the table. Want to congratulate Eileen Higgins for working so hard with Congress and Congresswoman Federica Wilson for getting, I think $469 million for the Northeast Corridor. And so when we think about that, we've got a campus at the North Campus. And so sitting at the table, making sure that we're advocating for that connection to the North Corridor of the county. When, the bus routes changed, making sure that what was the best routes to our campuses, because so many of our students do rely on public transportation to get to and from campus, and then to and from work as well. So I think we try to really be proactive and sit at the table and just remind everyone the role that the college plays. I remember when we were thinking about the trolley, and the trolley was being designed, I think the trolley was going to come up 7th or end on 10th, and it would have I think it was end on 10th, and would have left out the college and then Lindsay Hopkins. And because we were at the table, that expanded just 2 blocks over, now had a stop right on 20th Street and about 9th Ave, which sits between Lindsay Hopkins and Miami-Dade College. And so just those kinds of things are important, because it makes a difference for students being right at a stop that leaves you at the campus versus being, 7 blocks away. And so I think part of it is the proactive planning. It's really easy to be reactive to things after. Everyone throws perfect touchdowns on Monday morning, after you get to sit back and watch it on TV. I think for us, we really try to be at the table and help leaders like you make the right decisions and make the informed decisions.
And by the way, not only are you at the table, often the table is at one of your campuses. So you're a great convener of this community. I've been to so many events at not only Wolfson, but other campuses, where you're actually bringing the community leaders together around an issue, right? To tackle it in a collaborative fashion.
Absolutely. It's, part of our mission is to be that thought partner and the convener for our community. So our campuses are always open to community convenings.
And also, speaking about sitting at the table, you literally have Miami-Dade College students, faculty, and staff members at our table. So I should mention that the college is one of many institutions that serve on our CITT nominating committee, which is the one that appoints members to the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust. And currently, we have 2 trust members who have ties to the college, both Miguel Murphy and Harry Hoffman. So
yes, I was
you're literally
say,
at the table.
The most recent is Miguel Murphy, and Miguel does just amazing work at the college. And if you want to connect students to community, that is He's Miguel's purpose and his passion. And Harry Hoffman's like the walking encyclopedia of the college. If you have a question, you call Harry, and he can give you the history and the context. And so I think you have 2 great individuals that are happy to contribute to making our community a better place.
And I appreciate that. It would be so easy just for people to clock in and clock out of work and go home and spend quality time with their family. But there seems to be some kind of culture at Miami-Dade College where you're encouraging your people to actually be civically engaged.
We're the community's college, right? And this is our community. It's our Miami. And the best way to make it ours is to participate. And so we encourage public service, whether, it's someone, like our legal counsel, Javier, he's the president of CABA, right? And so I think it's being civically engaged and civically minded is important, because one, it advocates for the college, but secondly, it builds stronger communities, and we're that foundational pillar for our community.
And you're leading by example. I know you're involved in so many different organizations, 2 of which we share a passion for. So let's talk about Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce. I believe you're currently the vice chair and the incoming chair. Is that correct?
Yes.
So talk about the chamber.
Our team says my other job, my second job.
They keep us busy, I know.
They keep us very busy.
Especially at the executive level. So I know you plan ahead. So I'm sure you're already thinking of your chairmanship sometime next year. What are some of your thoughts and initiatives that you would like to tackle as chair of the chamber?
It's an exciting time in Miami. So think about next year leading up to the World Cup. Think about just on the sports scene, what we're seeing, right, with Inter Miami. We at the college built a partnership with FIFA. I want to make sure that our members and our small businesses feel a part of that. And, you and I know that Miami, about 90% of the businesses in Miami-Dade County employ less than 50 people. It's small businesses. We can call them entrepreneurs and founders. It's small businesses. Our economy is driven by small businesses here in Miami-Dade County. So making sure that they're members and that they get the value from being connected to the chamber is really important. I think the chamber has been focused obviously on advocating on workforce housing and some of the others things that we hear from the community that need to be prioritized. And I'm really proud of the leadership of the chamber creating the Health Trust, which provided a platform for small businesses to plug in to a healthcare program and be able to offer that to their employees. So those are the things that we'll continue to do, and making sure as Miami is in the spotlight, that the chamber is also spotlighting our members and they feel that they can contribute and are part of that.
Yeah, it really is a great organization. I'm really proud to be a part of it as well, and looking forward to doing so under your leadership. So thank you for taking on that mantle.
And the team at the chamber is
because you're not busy enough. You had to take that on too. The other thing that you're not too busy for is Leadership Florida, and another amazing organization. And I'm always amazed to see you at their events because you have so much to do and so many places to be. I'm convinced that there are 3 of you out there, to be honest with you. And so let's speak a little about Leadership Florida. What is the organization, and why are you so passionate about it?
So I'm passionate about Leadership Florida because I want to go back to the chamber for a minute. If you're a young leader in this community, go through Leadership Miami. If you're a new executive in our community and you're listening today, go through the senior executive program at the chamber. That plugs you into community. And I think building on that, Leadership Florida plugs you into the state. And so when you think about the work of Leadership Florida, the members of Leadership Florida, and how they're contributing across our entire state, so we go from our Miami to our state. And I look at those 2 organizations as one is plugging the local community, and then Leadership Florida is really bringing the thought leaders and partners of all of Florida, private sector, public sector, nonprofit sector, to the table with one purpose: making a better Florida for each of us. And so I think, I love the mission and the purpose and what they're doing.
Yeah, we're all going to rise or sink together, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. And Florida is doing amazing things. As a state, I know you have that statewide experience. I imagine that you're collaborating and coordinating with some of your colleagues across the county boundaries. Are there partnerships with other higher ed institutions that you'd like to discuss?
Yeah, I want to say Florida is #1 in higher education, and now we're #1 in education. But just on the higher education front, when you think about our 28 colleges and 12 state universities and the partnerships that we're building, we just signed a new partnership with Florida State University, and so their president was down, their trustees, and we signed an agreement for students who finish at Miami-Dade College in certain pathways, have that clear pathway to FSU, and have an opportunity there for transfer scholarships. I think that's an example. On cybersecurity, we signed a wonderful agreement with the University of West Florida, who are leaders in that cybersecurity space, and we collaborate with the Center for Cybersecurity at the University of South Florida. So when we think about the partnerships, and part of that is the college, and the other part is just being at the table, with Leadership Florida. So many of those leaders are part of the organization. And as you know, you start talking at a cocktail or you start talking at a reception, and all of a sudden you're building out a partnership. What I love most is how we learn from each other, what the Orlando community can be doing with a healthcare partnership, how we can do that in Miami-Dade County as well.
Well, and there's no one better positioned to collaborate across the state than you. Just, not only because of your connections and past experience, but your just personality. You seem to be a collaborative oriented person. So thank you for that.
No, happy to do that. And I think what I do it for is the opportunities it creates for our students, just like you have an intern, right?
Yes, where's Priscilla?
Yeah, Priscilla's here. And so
wonderful intern from Miami-Dade College.
If we create those connections, what happens is we create opportunities for students. And so that's my driving force, to be collaborative and build the partnerships. One is we build stronger and better communities, but we also build wonderful pathways and opportunities for our students.
It really does shine through in everything you do and everything your people do, that you have a passion for your students,
Yeah.
or as Miguel Murphy likes to call them, scholars.
Scholars. He calls them scholars. We like to say students first, right? They're at
Yeah.
the center of our decision making at the college.
That's it. That's the heart of the whole thing. That's why we do what we do, right?
Exactly. They're our why.
Now, is there anything coming up you'd like to discuss? Any new initiatives? Any breaking news you'd like to break here on Mobility Matters?
I will tell you the book fair is coming up.
Yes.
We've got the GEMS Film Festival is also, is coming up. We will celebrate 100 years of the Freedom Tower
Wow.
next year, and
That's
that
huge.
is going to be exciting.
Our Ellis Island.
Oh, our Ellis Island. We're going to have an exhibit called Libertad, which will be the journey of hope and opportunity. And I think it will be a place and an exhibit that you can really celebrate the over 600,000 Cuban exiles like my parents that were processed through the Freedom Tower. It'll be a place, where you can hear in the stories of Pedro Pan, so many that left Cuba as a child and 45 minutes later had to land here as an adult, right?
You can't leave that without crying. I mean,
Correct.
just thinking about it now.
Yeah, so that's going to be amazing, and we'll celebrate that in June of 2025.
That's great.
And then we'll also open up there the first exhibit for FIFA in North America.
Wow.
So we're
How
super
exciting.
excited about that.
And by the way, so on top of everything else we discussed, the college is such an amazing, what's the word? Not protector, but curator, custodian is the word I'm looking for, of many of Miami-Dade County's historical landmarks, including the Freedom Tower, but some others. And so thank you for that.
Yeah, Kubik.
It's not easy. These things don't make money. They cost a lot of money to upkeep and to renovate. So thank you. You're playing a critical role in that as well.
We're happy to be the stewards, right,
Yes.
and the custodians of that, and protect our history.
Yeah.
And the Kubik on 27th Avenue is another one. It's just there we're convening so many great programs with the film festival on art and culture as well.
And shout out to Dr. Paul George,
Yes.
who's also one of your noted
historian. Oh my God,
historian professors. And
yes.
He likes to tell the story that he's responsible for my wife and I getting married because one of our first dates was one of his historic tours. He takes full credit for it.
If you haven't done one in Miami, you need to go.
You really do,
You need
Dr.
to go
George.
spend an afternoon or evening with Paul George.
Absolutely. Madam President, that's all the time we have for this segment, but there's so many other things we could discuss. So please, come back and join me again in a future episode. I'd love to have you.
Thank you.
So thank you for being on.
Thank you for what you're
everything
doing.
you do. Thank you to the college for the critical role it plays in our community. Really, Miami wouldn't be the same without you. So thank you again.
And thank you for your leadership and for the leadership of the Citizens Trust and
Thank you. It's
focused
very
on
kind.
making sure we're connected and mobile. So that's critical to Miami's economic development.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So thank you.
Folks, that's all the time we have here on Mobility Matters. You can catch us every other Thursday from 9 to 10 a.m. We have a number of guests coming up that you'll be interested in hearing from. You could also visit our website to learn more about us. We're at miamidade.gov/CITT. We are actively looking for Transportation Trust members. So if you're interested in volunteering and being a part of the solution, please apply. And we're looking for CITT ambassadors. These are riders of our transit system that act as our eyes and ears. And you get rewarded with points for it that you can exchange for rewards. So there's a nice little incentive there for you. So please visit our website. And finally, we want to thank our partners here at Miami's community newspapers for being such great partners and producing and hosting us in this wonderful facility, which, by the way, if you haven't noticed behind me, is the Miami-Dade College Wolfson campus, right?
Absolutely. In the heart of it all.
In the heart of it all.